All right. Good evening, everyone. He's working. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Let's get started tonight. 5:30. Uh, please stand for the flag salute. All right. Good evening, everyone. Do we need to have make any changes to the agenda? Okay. We have a motion and a second on the agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Agenda carries. Let's move it on to the consent agenda. Other than a couple applications, it looks like everything's fairly normal there. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second on the consent agenda. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving right along to the middle school presentation.
Oh, sorry. We're really excited about everything that's going on. Last year, we successfully participated in our first basketball event. It's a big step as historically Fort Scott has only participated in track and field, both local and regional event. And Dr. Johnson over here was the referee for that game, and he held us to a hard line there. But we're excited to do that again this year, and the high school was very gracious and welcoming to us, and we really appreciated that, both staff and students. Last year was our first year to do bowling, and this year was our first year to do unified bowling. And what that means is we have students from the general education setting that are partnering with our Special Olympic athletes. And then we did the same thing this year with our first cornhole event. It was really, really cool to see. And then ultimately, we're excited to be moving more towards the unified look that Southeast Kansas Special Olympics is doing. The one of the most exciting things is being able to add those three events and then still continuing to do the track and field. On top of everything, the middle school has piloted most of that. Jana Farrington and myself both being here, being able to pilot those events, and then next year and the years to come, bringing in Eugene Ware and in the high school and different events that they're able to. High school does still have to operate under some CASHA guidelines, so it makes it a little trickier there. But Eugene Ware in the middle school participate in most of the events moving forward. Some numbers that we had last year for basketball, we had 22 athletes participate both in the competition drills and the game. So far this year, we had 11 athletes in bowling and 12 in cornhole. And again, both for both of those events, we were able to utilize our unified partners that came from the student council, and we were very gracious for Tracy for helping us out there. Ultimately, the Special Olympics program is something that is done on a volunteer basis, and we're excited to see everything that our students and athletes are able to participate in and move forward. So thank you very much.
I'm going to move us up here a little bit. I think Steven's trying to kill us and make us fall off the back of the stage. Tracy Holman's going to speak to you a little bit about student council here. She's up next.
I'm Tracy Homan. I teach 7th grade language arts, but I'm also the student council sponsor. This is my second year doing that. It's actually the third year that we have student council here at the middle school. Each year has grown, and we are up to 25 6th, 7th, and 8th graders total. So we have 25 students total, and many of those kids, especially like the 8th graders, several of them have been in it since their 6th grade year. So it's good to see those kids that are, willing to keep working year after year. This year, we have added a leadership class also. I think I have 16 kids in the leadership class. So it's not mandatory to be in student council to do leadership, but that's kind of an extra thing they can do. And so those kids, I see them every day, and so they get just a little more, work with leadership. And our focus this year has been not only that leadership, but also creating a positive culture. We've talked a lot about, making it where kids want to come to school. And so with that, we've done things like we made positive sticky notes and put them up. We have made locker tags for athletics, and kids have really enjoyed that. We've done thank you notes for teachers, just little things that kind of brighten people's day and want them to come here. Like Travis said, I've had kids that have partnered with Special Olympics athletes and have went to those events. We are helping with the Veterans Day activities that are going to be here on Wednesday. The kids are they're acting as ambassadors a lot of times with things that are happening here. They'll give tours to new students. They were helpful at the career fair and welcoming the community members and taking them to rooms and things like that. And so basically our goal is just to, one, make this a positive place, but also help them to learn some leadership skills at an early age, because even in middle school, it's important to kind of start that. And so we go to Greenbush. I think we went once. We'll go 3 more times this year to leadership days at Greenbush, and they work on team building, and they're able to kind of interact with other school districts, and they have a program that helps them just with the leadership skills. Other things that we are doing, we have a lot of projects. The kids are they're pretty gung-ho about getting things done, and so they have a lot of projects that we're going to work on. We're in the process of helping with the Bourbon County Food Drive right now. They're going to be sorting all of the food that comes in for the food drive, and within the school we are sponsoring a little competition between advisory periods to try to get more items, and they're working on a project for American Education Week next week to give to the teachers. So there's lots of things that we're working on, but mostly it's just we have really great kids, and these especially they want this to be a good place for all kids, and they have really, really good intentions. So it's a great group to work with. Thank you.
Yeah. What's that? I don't know. Maybe the folks at home. I'm Matt Harris, assistant principal here at the middle school. You've probably, some of you I know have probably seen this, but it's something definitely worth sharing and talking about again. This is our AP time that we use, or our stamp schedule. I think this is, and I got to give credit Dr. Johnson and collaboration with our teachers. This is something that he brought in. I think we're on year 3 now, right? Year 3. And it has paid huge benefits. And I can say that with confidence because if you look at our iReady scores, there is significant growth. And you look at last year's state assessment scores, the numbers don't lie. And that's not opinion when you're looking at numbers because numbers tell the story. What this does, it gives our teachers time and opportunity to so-called stamp kids a couple days a week and get those kids that need extra help. You know, if you want to call it, it's part of an RTI, response to intervention. And it is an opportunity to step in, catch these kids before they fall too far behind and they're falling in the cracks, okay? As this worked, you can see we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have a stamp time in the morning and we have a stamp time in the afternoon. And on Mondays, for example, math. Each math teacher in each grade can stamp kids, and those kids come to their room and they get roughly about 25 minutes to work on skills that they need. Okay. So it's not really homework time. We're working on specific skills that they need to stay up in that tier 1 instruction. They don't fall behind. And it's fluid. Maybe you're stamped today, maybe not next week. So it's fluid and it moves. Kids in those teachers' rooms, they come to the library, they come here to the cafeteria, and we use our expo teachers, we use paras, we use aides, we have supervision for all these kids. That way teachers can work with their students. Other teachers at that time have kids in their AP, and those kids in the morning are doing iReady. And iReady has shown tremendous growth for our kids. You can look up the numbers and you can see it. So that is a structured time. It's a protected time where we're either doing math 2 days a week and we're working on reading 2 days a week. And that's pretty sacred. We don't interrupt that time. Okay. And it's paying huge dividends. As you can see, Tuesday, ELA. Again, Thursday is math and Friday is ELA. So priority to the math and reading, but those teachers get 2 days a week to work with those kids in what we call tier 2 intervention so they don't fall behind, okay? In the afternoons, science and social studies also get time, okay? Those subjects are important too. And during that time, kids in the afternoon AP can work on their iReady stuff. We have goals that they have to meet weekly, in both content areas, and we do rewards and incentives if they meet those goals. Wednesday is collaboration time, Wednesday is for our expo teachers in the afternoon, but in the mornings we do social emotional lessons. Those Tammy Claypool and Carrie Hansen come up with those, and as you go around the building, that Wednesday morning during that time, everybody's working on their social emotional lessons, and that's huge, and it's so important for our kids to get that aspect too. One of the cool things about this is this fits right in with our PLC process. You know, the district has invested huge in the last few years in the PLC process. This ties right into it. Because if you look at those 4 questions about what PLC is about, what do we want our kids to know? How do we know if they know it? What if they don't know it? You know, what are we gonna do if they don't know it? And what are we gonna do if they do? So part of that PLC process is collaboration also. And collaboration is key to let those teachers get together to talk about what they're teaching, how the kids are doing, adjustments that are need to be making. You know, you just can't go in your room and shut the door and everybody does their thing. You've got to be talking about it. And we do a lot of that on those monthly PLC days too. But if you look in here, no matter which day of the week it is, they get those content areas, get a time to collaborate. So that's 25 minutes a week that they can get together too and talk about what they're teaching, how's it going, adjustments that need to be made. So it's pretty cool, pretty crucial, and paying off a lot. Trying to think what else that we've got. And it's really a team effort through the whole entire middle school. Everybody chips in, everybody does their part. I'm trying to think. One of the good things too, Dr. Johnson did this religiously, and so is Mr. Brown. During that collaboration time, that gives the building principal a chance to go around and meet with each group weekly. That's 25 minutes they go around My job is to help put out fires, help keep control out here, and that allows the building principal to attend those meetings, to touch base with staff, to talk and, to see what's going on and make sure there's communication there. Trying to think without getting in a whole lot of detail. Teachers share a sheet, so a teacher goes right in and puts those names in. All the teachers can see that, so they know which kids are to be where. So it really, really works pretty good. And I can say that confidently. Don't take my opinion for it. Look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. Okay. In the last 3 years, we have made huge gains in what we're doing, so it is working. We also have part of this using our data and our numbers. Your tier 1 instruction is your regular classroom. Your tier 2 is your stamp time. But we also have a tier 3 intervention time where teachers are teaching tier 3 classes. So content area teachers, your experts in those fields, instead of teaching electives, are teaching a tier 3 time where we take kids, we pull them from elective for a while, and they get direct, intense, very small group instruction for our kids who are struggling the most. Okay, we've got a pretty good system set up where no kid's going to fall behind. We're going to do everything we can to support them. So definitely something worth talking about. Did I leave anything out? Oh my good, but thanks. But it's something, if you guys get a chance, you ought to come and see it sometime. It's really worth seeing. It works pretty good. And like I said, our kids are doing well. Any questions? Anything? Okay. Thank you. Well done.
Well, I have to first say I'm thankful to have that system already in place when I came in because it worked very smoothly. And like he said, one of the great things for me is the opportunity that every day of the week I go to a different discipline, and I have that 20 minutes so I can ask, hey, how's it going? What can I do to help? What are we working on right now? So communication is just very strong in that process. So anyway, the two programs I want to talk to you about, the first one, I have to start by saying I believe strongly that building relationships with our students is one of the most important aspects of learning. We can be great teachers, we can have pedagogy knowledge, but if we can't build those relationships with kids, we're just not going to be as successful. One of the things that I worked strongly on to start out the year was a program that we had done 20 years ago, and we called it SOS, which was Save One Student. Now, originally, back in the day, we did this with just at-risk students, but we decided that every student here at Fort Scott Middle School needed an adult mentor that was here and was watching out for them. Now, we don't tell the kids that they have an adult mentor, but what we did was we put down every kid's name on an Excel document, gave the opportunity for teachers who may not see all the kids. For example, like art teachers won't have every kid, cooking and so on. They get the first opportunity to look at that list and say, okay, I'll take these 4 or 5 kids and I'm going to be their mentor throughout the year. And then we just worked our way down to the classroom teachers, and the last people involved were counselors and principals, administrators, because we have more opportunities to get to see kids. The goal here is that there's someone watching out for every kid here. We're not telling the kids that. They don't know that. But we try to, as much as we can, see if our kid is walking down the hall, we try to say something special to them. We try to recognize their birthday. Maybe they played volleyball. We go say something special to them. The key, the goal is that every kid thinks, man, that person really cares about me, has someone that they've built a relationship they might go to if they have trouble, if they have a question, and that kind of thing. So that's one program I wanted to tell you about. We call that Save One Student. Secondly, coming up this week, and I don't know if anybody has an opportunity to attend this, but we have a special veterans recognition that we're doing this year. Now, once again, I don't claim to invent this idea. I'm stealing this one from as a second-year teacher 30 years ago. We did this at the old middle school. We had World War II veterans come in and speak to each individual homeroom class. And I can tell you from experience, and having kids in that age group, it's one of the most memorable things in my teaching career to have those people come in and tell their stories and so on. So we are having our normal open to the public Veterans Day assembly at 2 o'clock in here. But before that, we've done a lot of background work here, and we've sought out Korean War veterans, and Vietnam War veterans to come in and speak to our individual home base classes, which would be AP classes today, to have those intimate conversations with, like we did back with the World War II veterans. Those people who have been invited to come and talk are actually coming in early. We'll do a meet and greet with them at about 1:30. They will attend the public part, and then they will be taken down to the individual home room classes to talk with our kids. And we created a list of like 22 what we thought would be appropriate questions for the kids to interactively be involved and ask the questions. Now that just opens the door for us to have those communications. I can tell you what I've already seen so far. In talking to some of our veterans, I mean, I've had people in tears. I've had people say, I'm so thankful that you are honoring us in this way, and I get the opportunity to come and talk. Family members have told me, my dad has not talked about this forever. I can't believe he's excited to come and talk. So we are looking forward to the program. We think it's going to be a really cool experience for not only the adults, the veterans, the teachers, but kids in general. So if you have an opportunity to come by, it'd be a neat thing to experience. We have thank you cards going out to them. We have the old middle school jerseys that we couldn't sell, but we're going to use those, and all the kids are going to sign those. That'll be a memento for the speakers who came in. But just two programs there. I wanted to tell you about the Save One Student and the Veterans Program coming up. So we appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all, and if you have any questions, be glad to answer.
Was it on Veterans Day?
Oh, good question. So we knew this was a special program, and the veterans have a lot going on Veterans Day. So we moved ours to a recognition program on the 12th instead. So it's the day after. Thank you.
I think the honor flight program that they started at the high school might be a nice bit of that at the next.
Yes, Amy was helpful to us. I think she's the one working on it. I called her because somebody said that, and she gave me some suggestions of people who could come in and speak, possibly for us as well. There were names that gave us on the list, but there were a lot of people we have come in that weren't really on any list. So that's a good suggestion. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, what time?
The full open to the public part in the gym will be at 2. The conversations I estimate will probably be done by about 2:20. So 2:20 to 2:30 will probably start, and they'll be in all of the pod classes down here, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Everyone will have a speaker in it. So.
That's great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on. Zach, do you have a report for us?
I just had a few things.
Yeah.
Kind of going off what Danny was talking about. So we have Veterans Day coming up. We got middle school, Eugene Ware, Winfield Scott with all programs. Again, middle school will be on that Wednesday. Eugene Ware is, I believe, is 2 o'clock on Tuesday, and Winfield Scott is 8:30 on Tuesday. All veterans are definitely welcome to attend, and we're thankful for what they do. Student learning. So we have interim data that's been given to us because our teachers have provided those interims for the month of October. This is very valuable for our teachers as we gear up for the spring state assessments. So these have been given. It's relatively new practice for us, but it is something that's very important. We want to continue to value because it does play a big role into how our kids perform on that spring assessment. Also, iReady testing is going to be coming up for math and ELA. We'll be having that probably here in about 4 or 5 weeks once December gets here. So kids will be testing again, and simply that's to monitor progress on how they're doing. KISA, so that's our accreditation system that we have in place. We have 2 primarily goals for our district. Letters training, which is to make sure that our teachers are skilled on basically the science of reading, how to teach reading, how to understand reading. And so this is kind of a new practice as well, but our focus is to make sure that all elementary teachers are trained in this, and we are getting close to that. I don't think we have 100%, but we're very close. And then the other goal that we had was to make sure that we had an RTI system in place for every building. And I believe we do. And basically what that just entails is that no matter where a kid is, whether they come 3 or 4 grade levels below, in every building, we have a system there to support them. And that's something that takes ongoing work and ongoing progress. But at the end of the day, we do have a system in place in every building, which is a positive. And the last thing I have is the Kansas Star Award recognition. So we applied for one of these state recognitions last year, and it was this one, and we actually got recognized for it. We'll get our counselors up here at another board meeting, but at the end of the day, this is a reflection of social and emotional growth and purpose by our district. We are saying with this that basically we value connection, we value positivity, and we want to see all kids be successful. We were able to get recognized, and we'll have a banner that'll come up for our district, and we'll make sure kids get banner, or each building has a banner as well. But we're very proud for our counselors as well as all staff that take it very seriously on building connections with their kids and making sure socially and emotionally our kids are being successful. That's all I have.
Sure.
I've attended over how many years, a lot of different workshops. I'm thinking like, January, some, like, I've seen a lot of children, and you try to meet the categories of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, lot of different ones. This is one I would say we all consider the type of because it's your dad, but you can make last time. It's easy to show that it's making a difference, rather than makes, and that's, I think I consider that.
Zach, did you implement that?
Do what?
Did you implement that?
Yeah, so it's basically in year 3, and we've kind of fine-tuned as we went forward, based off research and just conversations with other schools that perform well academically. This is kind of what I puzzled together with collaboration with our teachers, and I think anytime you can get buy-in from teachers when they have an opportunity to help kids and exclusively pick any kids that they want, you're sending a good message and you're allowing that empowerment to be there. It's not perfect and it probably never will be, but we're at least allowing the process to say, hey, no matter where a kid is, we have teachers that want to help and they can help. So,
Thank you.
yes.
Anything else from Zach? Okay. Moving on to Terry.
All right, just a few updates as far as business and finance. The financial audit has been completed. We're just waiting for the single federal audit to be completed. And that's just any time that an entity has over $750,000 in federal funding expenditures, we have to go through that single audit. And then the KSDE audit, that is going to be next week. We have our documentation uploaded on the audit file exchange, so we're prepared for that to take place. A couple updates on some grants. The Patterson Family Foundation grant that we've discussed previously. We've closed our bids on those equipment purchases. We'll be coming to the board in December with those recommendations, and that will be for the welding booths, welders, a plasma cutting table, and a vertical mini mill. And also, along with that, we were notified today that we received an additional Perkins grant in the amount of roughly $25,000. That will allow us to purchase a lathe and then also some additional tools and equipment that will go along with our CTE program. So there'll be quite a robust expansion in that area. Some other grants, working with Healthy Bourbon County on the Farm to School grant. This will just basically be an opportunity for a working farm for our students to be able to visit and get some valuable life skills. And as far as the district, it will require a 25% match, but we can meet that in kind, and that 25% match we can meet with our in-kind contribution, so there'll be no financial obligation from the district for this. The Early Childhood Center, the playground, we'll have to construct a new playground. That's going to be about a $250,000 project, and we're working on grant funds. I've submitted a grant from the Max and Victoria Dreyfus Foundation up to $20,000, and then the Casey's Cash for Classrooms grant for up to $50,000. That's just helped offset that cost, and I'm exploring other grant options as well. We'll know more probably in the spring is when they'll notify districts of whether or not they're successful in those. Then just some operations updates. The preschool building renovation, Skitches Hauling and Excavation has been awarded the bid to complete the excavation and foundation waterproofing work, which will be the first step to get that the moisture and issues so we can complete that and then move on with the mold abatement that will need to be conducted. I actually have a phone call this week with the architects and engineers for updates on their visit from a couple weeks ago. So once we get through that process, we'll update the board on that. Elementary alternative school, continuing to work on renovations to that site. A lot of work being done, nearly completed on that, ready for student placement. The wrestling practice facility, renovations continue and are progressing well. Especially also with the locker rooms. I know the new lockers have been delivered and they're in the process of being installed. And then as far as food service, continuing to monitor the impact of the federal government shutdown. We learned here a couple weeks ago that the state of Kansas, they do have funds, reserve funds set aside that they will be able to pay claims October, November, December. So, and we're going to kind of keep an eye and monitor where we are with federal government shutdown. Sounds like there's some promising news there that may come to an end, but we'll have to continue to monitor that. And just to kind of give you an idea, meals, October served over 33,000 meals district-wide. Participation at the high school breakfast has grown. They're serving nearly 250,000 or 250 breakfasts every day there. Also, the food service department is using the hydroponics farm that we have going. We're purchasing some of that produce, and it's being used in the high school and middle school salad bars during lunch periods. And then the technology department, they continue to provide daily support across the district, as well as the transportation department, gathering their data for the upcoming KSDE audit and then conducting the regular fleet maintenance. Of course, with the weather changes taking place, making sure that our fleet is ready for the winter months. And then we did just wrap up the surplus auction that was approved last month. And by the time you take out the auction fee, we made $5,850 on the sale of those vehicles. The other thing that I do have that I want to close with, some recent information. We do have a property quitclaim deed that we'll be executing. I guess several years ago, there was property located near the National Cemetery that was going to be earmarked for the district when they were considering potential sites for the middle school. And since the middle school was constructed on a different site, and those plans did not move forward, the district really no longer has a need for the property. So basically for the property to be sold, we have to take this procedural step. Basically, this will allow the title to be cleared so the current owner can proceed with the sale of those lots. And that's really what I have.
On the technology department, have we got started to see like numbers break down how many USD234 versus how many city tickets are moving up there?
I haven't start to put those numbers together yet, but I know probably by the December board meeting, I'm going to work with Stephen because I know they've been putting in their tickets, and I know we'll get that information once we get some 2 or 3 months worth of some data there. Then we kind of start providing more frequent updates. So, but yeah.
Hydroponic trailer. We were going to tour it and then we didn't. So it's up and running. Everything's
Yep.
good.
Yes, it's up and running, producing kale, lettuce, all the good leafy greens.
When we get a chance, I'd like to see that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. We can make that happen. Sure.
All right.
Sure. Yep. We can schedule a
It's a
time
tour
to have a
day.
walkthrough.
January 15th when it's good and cold. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have a salad bar at the high school?
Yes.
Yes, I haven't been there in a few years.
Yep.
Thank you. Anything else for Terry?
Just a quick one, and maybe Tom, you can answer this. Is there any specific like sped grants for the playground? Because I know it's gonna be, some need for it to be like inclusive stuff for them, or is that anything that we looked at this point?
So those are some of the things that I'm trying to tie into to find those inclusive, and that's really, I'm hopeful that even these other grants tying in the inclusivity of it and what it's designed for. Yeah, hopefully that kind of gives us a leg up in what we're trying to accomplish with those grants and the playground. Yeah.
Terry, thank you.
Mhm.
Tanya?
You guys are so far away. So basically, as far as special ed funding for playgrounds would go, that would be the district's responsibility. And special education, like if we had students that needed special equipment to play on to make it accessible or something for certain students, then that is one of the things that special ed money can provide for. So, we also need to have that like in a student's IEP, things like that, for it to be taken from Fund 30. Yeah. Okay.
Is that something that you need addressed in the IEP, like the playground?
Like, well, if they need special equipment, yes. Yes. Yeah. It's like even like a student's wheelchair or a stand or something like that. And, the district would be obligated to provide that if they needed it to provide them FAPE. It all comes down to that FAPE, that free appropriate public education. So, good evening. So I have a very short report for you all tonight. I know that never upsets anybody. One thing that I wanted to share with you is that our team, our special ed team, I'm so proud to be a part of this team. They are very responsive to, I've given them a challenge to be a little bit more intentional about transitioning students from preschool to kindergarten, and then through the grades, and then from second to third, and from fifth to sixth, and from eighth to ninth. And mainly because we are aware that there are situations out there where students don't receive services, and it's never intentional. It's because life happens, and people get very, very busy. We have paras resign. Teachers are covering their duties and paras. People have deaths in their families. People are out. People have health issues. And so sometimes it's a matter of survival in those classrooms. I'm just going to be honest with you. So one of the things that we are doing is we are going, rather than transition meetings happening one day a year in May, we're going to be starting those in the fall. The middle school and Eugene Ware met last Friday. They have already done our first one, and it was very successful. I sat in with them, and I was just kind of observing the process because it's one of those things that we want to make sure that we don't try to eat the whole mountain in one meeting. It's like, okay, where do we need to start? Well, number one, I need to know, as I talk to our teams and our admin, how many staff do I need? I've got 5 teachers at Eugene Ware. I've got 5 at Winfield Scott. We have 4 at the preschool. We have 3 at the middle school and 5 at the high school. Is that going to be adequate for next year? Do we need to shift? Because I have to make a recommendation to these gentlemen for them to know, because if we need to add staff, then that's something that we need to look at in January. But our people are just really, really good about this. And so we just don't want to drop the ball on any kid because somebody missed a transition meeting in May. And that's, and that just, kind of comes down to it. So in January, I've challenged all of them to schedule the transition days between buildings. We're going to go ahead and get those substitutes booked. And then we have a plan. And at the last minute, it's not that somebody can't come because a pair is gone or something. We have a sub coming in. So it's going to basically be more intentional. So that's an effort that we are making. So anyway, I'm very proud of our team. They do a really good job, and they are all growing in paperwork. So, any questions for me?
Outside of the preschool, do the other ones teach like classroom development, or are they in a specific space? like writing IEP plans, or are they just providing the services, or do they teach a full classroom as well?
Our special ed teachers work with special ed kids. So they have their own classroom, and we have pull-out services, which is direct for especially designed instruction, that a team comes together, an IEP team, including the parents and outside agencies, and determine what that student needs based off of their most recent evaluation. And a student is due for an evaluation every 3 years. So, and I mean, I could talk about that for 2 hours, but I'll just give you the quick synopsis. Our special ed teachers, they are to work 100% with special ed kids. Anything else?
I think you covered it all, Tanya.
Well, I appreciate your support.
Thank you. Joe, you here? Good to see you. All right, good to see you. Laura's, you're in too? All right. I move that the board enters executive session to discuss employment for personnel under 25-26 school year pursuant to the non-elected personnel exception under COMA, and for the open meeting to resume at 6:41. The board invites Terry and Zach and Tanya for the initial.
Yep. It's an honor to be here.
All right. Before we leave here tonight, I've got a little paperwork for you guys to sign. Paychecks. Nothing. We have a motion and a second. Personnel, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned at 6:43.